Dave with Nerdarchy here for Nerds by Nerds, and today we're going to be bringing you a brand new series that we're doing. I got my esteemed colleague, Nerdarchist Ted here, and Monsters versus Monsters is what we're looking at today. Who do you repping for?
Well, today I'm going to bring out the Mighty Beholder.
The Mighty
Yeah,
Beholder.
Beholders are awesome.
Okay.
Besides the just the overall spooky fear factor that they have of just looking at them, just a plethora of magical abilities that they have at their beck and call that they could use unlimited is just a sheer massive power.
Well, I will see you one magic wielding nightmare and raise you another in the undying undeath Lich.
That's a pretty big force you're bringing to the table. Now, the interesting thing about this pair up is they're both, according to the 3.5 book, they're both a CR 13.
Very interesting. So a little backstory here, a little background is, Nate the Nerdarch and Nerdarchist Ted were having a discussion. And I don't know how it came up, but you guys were like, what would win, a Beholder or a Lich? And then, we had just gotten done helping Nerdarchist Ryan move, and me, Ted, and Ryan were all sitting at the bar having dinner and drinking some beers, and Ted's like, me and Nate had this discussion, this conversation. He didn't tell us anything about the conversation. He just said,
Who would win?
Who would win? And, and we went back and forth and talked about it a little bit, and we decided, we got to do a video on this. Because, when geeks are out there geeking out and getting nerdy with stuff, what do they talk about? Well, one monster's going to be one monster, of course.
You can always be like, oh, well, this little thing versus that little thing. But, I figured we'd start this video, this series off in style by having these two magical juggernauts face off.
Yeah, go big or go home is what they say in the gym.
Indeed.
So you think the Beholder is going to win?
I do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on its side. I mean, number one, it's got the central eye that just shuts down magic. Now, I did a little bit of research, and as a quote unquote living undead, if I look at a Lich, it's not going to shut him down. If you're stupid enough to pull out your phylactery, I can stop you from doing anything. Or if your phylactery happens to be within my gaze, I can stop you from doing anything. But no self-respecting Lich is going to carry his phylactery around.
That would just be silly.
That's just ridiculous. So the central eye is going to stop you from being able to cast spells. It's going to any summon minions that he looks at are just going to pop. So that's only one avenue of it. The Beholder's got the better saves. The Beholder has got a plethora of magical abilities to, either counteract some of the stuff that you can do or just, fucking disintegrate you every round. And it's just gonna hamper you with its array of abilities.
Nice pun. Well, we have the Lich, right? So the Lich, one of the Lich's strengths is it's dead already. How do you kill that which is dead, right? So it's fucking immune to like everything. Electricity, cold,
fear,
polymorph, any kind of mind-affecting stuff. You just can't touch it with. And physical attacks, DR 15 versus magic and bludgeoning. So it's really hard to hurt this sucker.
Indeed.
So you literally even have to use magic to hurt it. Saving throws. Fortunately for our Lich, he has a lot of immunities because his saving
throws suck.
His saving throws, could be a bit better. Reflex and will aren't bad. His fortitude save stinks, but then again, most things that would affect a fort, he doesn't have to save versus. He's either immune to it or it'll heal him. So that usually isn't much of an issue.
You mean you're not going to fear my ray of inflict moderate wounds?
No, I'm probably going to dive at it. Heal me, please. And then what else the Lich has going for it? One is just like the Beholder, they're super intelligent.
Right.
The Lich has available to it an array of magical items at its disposal. and the willingness to use them.
Of course.
And then in its repertoire is a lot of spells. Now, that anti-magic thing could be a problem. Fortunately for the Lich, it does have a backup to use against the Beholder, which is actual physically attacking it. It does basically negative energy damage with its touch, with a chance of paralyzation, and just being near the Lich, you have to save or sphere
Every round.
every round. Now, granted, the Beholder has very good saving throws, and the saves aren't that big a deal, but it could easily be 2 saving throws a round that it has to contend with irregardless.
Right.
And there is the off chance that you will roll a 1.
Right.
So, I think the Lich is a contender, and then the Lich has the advantage in the sense that it could also be very long lived and have a lot of experience.
Right.
What's the wisdom on the Beholder?
That's a goth. A wisdom of a 15.
Okay, so I'm looking at a wisdom of a 14 and intelligence of 19.
I got a wisdom of 15, intelligence of 17.
So we're almost
par, almost even.
Almost even on that.
I'm slightly wiser. You're slightly more intelligent.
What's your charisma over there?
Charisma is a charisma is a 15.
Oh, man, I'm only a 13. You're better looking than me.
So my mighty locks of eye rays are better than your ghastly form of
my tattered robes of undeath. So we're strictly going to talk monster versus monster, straight out of the PHB, completely, no customization.
I mean, if normally, I know our video series of monsters are all about, how to change what the book says. And here we're saying, take it right out of the book. They happened around the corner and they've decided that, all right, the Beholder's patrolling its territory because it hates everything that isn't Beholder that looks exactly like it. And the Lich, he's out investigating, looking for some magic item, and they spy each other. And for some insane reason, it's a fight to the death. They must kill the other. For a Beholder, that's every fight. It wants to just annihilate anything that's not it. But the Lich is usually the one who's like, you know what, I don't need to die here. But he also is smart enough to realize that if I do die here, I'm just going to come back in 1d10 days anyway, right. So why not?
Which is another advantage of the Lich, is actually killing the Lich in itself. Could be difficult. But, again, the Beholder is a smart monster as well. And if it fights something that gives it a run for its money, it might want to know what it was.
Right.
Or maybe it doesn't care. But I'd say it's smart enough to want to know what it was. And it's got a high knowledge arcana. Now, it doesn't have knowledge religion to know about undead.
But you also don't have knowledge dungeoneering to know exactly what I am.
Right. So. Which is, I think both of which are kind of a little bit odd in the sense that, they're both kind of otherworldly creatures, and you would think they would have expanded knowledge.
Well, the thing is, I would say as a DM, the Lich probably knows what a Beholder is, and a Beholder knows what a Lich is, but they probably don't have the detailed knowledge to know what the other is exactly going to be able to do.
Right, because
so that would be a DM call, in my opinion. If a player was playing a Lich and a player was playing the Beholder, I would rule that out. Rule that as the case, given their vast amounts of knowledge and whatnot.
So your Beholder, does it have spellcraft?
Does not appear so.
So. So there is one little slight advantage that I believe the Lich is going to have on the Beholder. They both know they're slinging spells. The Beholder's spells are spell-like abilities, so it doesn't actually think about what it does. It just does what it does. Kind of like a scorpion with a poison stinger. It doesn't think about its poison. It just has it.
Right.
Well, the Lich, on the other hand, uses magic, you cast spells, and understands spells. So every time the Beholder reveals an eye ray, the Lich, with its I think it's like a 20, right? It's got a 20 spellcraft. So essentially, it's going to pretty much auto know
exactly
what's been used on it, and will be categorizing and cataloging everything the Beholder uses against him to use as the battle progresses. I think as the fight goes on, this is an advantage to the Lich.
Right.
The Beholder starts a strong, strong spot and stays there, where I think the Lich can actually has the ability to adapt more as the battle goes on.
But with that adaptation, it might not be able to, completely. What do you know? It's not going to completely be able to win out. I think with the fact that the Beholder's biggest and baddest weapon, the Eye of Disintegration, being able to drop 13 die 6 on you every round, that can seriously eat away at you. And even if you manage to pass your saving throw, which given your lack of fort bonus, chances are not in your favor. It's only going to take me 2 or 3 rounds to dust you.
So, and you also have to hit with that ray.
True.
Right. So it's a touch attack.
Right.
Which for the Lich isn't great, but it's much better for the Lich than it is the Beholder.
True. So
how do you see this fight start? They round the corner. Well, we roll initiative.
We roll initiative. The Beholder has the higher initiative modifier. So if we're going with law of averages,
we each get a 10. I have a 13.
Yeah, I have a 16. So I get to go first.
You get to go first.
Beholder's going to look at you, assume that, okay, well, this is just some kind of undead creature, just by looking at it. It's a moving skeleton of sorts. It's smart enough to realize, all right, I'm not going to use my inflict ray on you.
Or Finger of Death.
Or Finger of Death. So we can rule those 2 out.
It probably will know not to use its mind-affecting spells as well.
It's either really powerful undead, so it's pointless to use that, or it's mindless, so therefore no need to use a mind-affecting thing on it.
So what options does that give you?
So, it says that its Ray of Disintegration is its most powerful, and it saves that for the most powerful foe. Now, if it decides it really wants to annoy you, and eliminate you, and there's only one of you, I see no reason why it shouldn't use that on the first round. But some people can make the argument. So I would certainly consider using my slow to reduce what you can be able to do. But I could also say, you know what, I'm going to hit you with a telekinesis and just blast you, either into a wall, let the telekinesis damage you, or just shove you back to the maximum range so that I can prepare myself for, whatever I need to do.
Now, is there a possibility that it unknowingly unleashes the flesh to stone ray?
That's certainly a possibility. It's I could always do a flesh to stone and not do the Ray of Disintegration, which we would find out if I used it that it's a polymorph effect, and as a Lich you're immune to polymorph.
So that in itself could be a thing. That would require specific knowledge of which falls under the domain of religion.
Right. Which the Beholder's out of the book, not trained in.
Right. Maybe an Arcana check at a disadvantage, with a higher DC.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Arcana on the Beholder?
Arcana 17.
So Arcana 17, that's probably going to be a fairly high DC.
Mm-hmm.
So, because what is it? Monster hit dice plus DC 10 is a standard.
Mm-hmm.
So I would almost say that's like a 26 to a 31 to get that kind of like obscure knowledge for an Arcana check. So then
it's possible, but
it's definitely possible. So there's flesh to stone, telekinesis,
and
slow, and disintegrate are the 4 that it might go with. And then I guess if we're going with any of those, that means his eye is off.
Right, because it can't focus on a target and keep the eye open. And let's face it, if you round the corner, you're within that 150 feet. I've looked at you and you haven't dusted or popped. You're not a summoned creature, so therefore, it's not necessary to have.
Now let's examine slow. It might consider going with the slow. Now slow is that a will save?
I believe so.
It's either a will save or a reflex save. Either way, the Lich actually has a decent chance of making that. Disintegrate, it says it uses for its most powerful foes.
Mm-hmm.
If he does, if he doesn't know how powerful this foe is that the go-to? Maybe,
Right.
maybe not. I'd say probably not.
I can buy that argument.
So now we got stone, flesh to stone, slow,
And telekinesis.
and telekinesis. So if he pushes him back to get some breathing room, that becomes what I guess this is going to be like a strength check, which the Lich is not going to do very well with.
Yeah, the telekinesis is it can pretty much move anything up to 325 pounds, and let's face it, when you remove the water and the blood from an undead creature, those things don't weigh all that much.
Yeah, there's not much going on. So he shoves him back, which, will be annoying to the Lich in the sense that, now in order to use those touch attacks, he's got to get close. But being a Lich, maybe that's not what he wants to do anyway.
Right.
So, I think my Lich, he's going to go to one of his spells as his first, as the first thing he does. And again, he's looking at the beholder, and though he may not know what a beholder is,
or he might know what a beholder is,
he doesn't know what they can do. He knows they're powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to go to our spells, and now I'm far away, so I probably want to get close, or maybe I want to be more defensive. So mirror image seems like a safe bet for any wizard starting combat.
Absolutely.
So now you're looking at 2 to 5 liches, or 3 to 6 liches.
Right.
And and then me being a Lich with nothing better to do, I start stalking forward, at my regular movement, getting me 30 feet closer.
Yeah. You bust out the mirror image. Well, let's face it. With my Arcana check, I'm gonna know what that is, so I'm gonna know how that actually works. And if I target your images, a successful target typically makes it go away.
Yes.
So I can say blip blip blip. I now know that you're a spellcaster, which possibly ups your potential for, okay, I need to worry about you, so might push the Ray of Disintegration into effect, or at least up the chain.
But here's the interesting thing. Now, this is very much based on the die roll.
Mm-hmm.
You now have the minimum of 2 images to deal with. Unless you choose to suppress them, which then that means you can't do anything but suppress them.
Right.
So you have a minimum of 2, possibly 5 images to deal with.
Right.
You can only bring 3 rays to bear on one target.
Correct.
So, at best, you're going to be able to target me with 1 ray.
Correct.
And you also have to use a damaging effect on the images in order to make them pop. So, you need 3 rays, and at least 2 of them have to be damaging in order to get rid of the rays. So what do we have in your damaging arsenal?
Well, I've got the Disintegrate. Fear is useless. Finger of Death is useless. Flesh of Stone is useless. Inflict is not going to do anything. Sleep's not going to do anything. I could always try to, slow and, not that it's much. And then Telekinesis, you can technically damage with it.
So that would definitely be 1.
So, I would have to use the Disintegrate and the Telekinesis.
And this brings us up to a point that I'm not actually sure about, right? Technically, it has to be a damaging effect, which you have several effects that are damaging. They're just not damaging to a Lich.
No.
So do those effects pop a mirror image or not?
Correct. There's also the idea of what's in the terrain, and can I use Telekinesis to project an object or objects in your direction?
You absolutely could use Telekinesis to at least pop 1. I think mirror image is set up in a way that they don't go away with an area effect.
Right.
I think they actually have to be targeted.
Right.
So either way, it's going to suck up the minimum of 2 of your rays.
Correct.
So even if we say, you can bring 3 to bear, and then possibly that would be the Disintegrate, which I would then have to make a saving throw against for half damage.
Right.
And then, which would immediately, for the Lich, up the ante for
this is something I need to worry about.
Yeah, this could very well be a problem.
Right.
So we're at the beginning of round 2. You're popping mirror images with whatever you can use.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 to 5. The average of that is 3.
Right.
So can we assume 3 images?
We can assume 3 images. I've just popped 2 of them.
Well, you get the ability to pop all 3.
Well, I don't have 3 damaging effects.
Well, it's a gray area. We're not sure. Like you do, and they're targeted. They just don't technically affect a Lich.
Right.
So we're not sure how that plays out.
Well, so let's just say for point of argument, we're doing law of averages here. So you've got 3 images. I've popped 2. It's now your turn in round 2.
Okay. Anti-magic field, yes or no?
Anti-magic field is all off because I can't bring my eyes to bear on you.
Okay. So I'm a Lich. This is a problem. You're kind of far away from me. And I'm a little concerned right now. So you've proven yourself that you have a lot of attacks. The telekinesis can be an issue. With that, I think I read a scroll.
Okay.
And I drop monster summoning, 1 to 3 monsters.
Okay.
Now this is going to be...
So you summon monster 4, and you choose to go with a 3rd chart, so you can get the 1d3.
Yeah, I'm going Fiendish Wolverines.
Okay.
I'm hoping for 3.
All right.
But we don't know what I'm going to actually get, so we roll imaginary roll, and it is whatever it is. So now I'm going to drop them behind him.
Okay.
But it's not really an advantage because you're a beholder and you can see everywhere.
See everything.
Yeah.
All around vision.
So, and with that, I would move another 30 feet closer.
Okay. Well, seeing now that I've got some monsters behind me, my instinct, now I can use all of my rays, but I can only bring 3 of them to bear. So I'm going to take, one of my eye rays of charm monster, and I'm going to charm the one monster to go fight the other. So, I'll just be like, you go deal with him, and you're now down to just the 1 mirror image. So I'm definitely bringing my.
I think the Fiendish creatures have spell resistance, but I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue for the beholder to overcome it. Because I think they start at almost the number.
They are considered a 13th level caster.
Yes.
So.
Mighty indeed.
11.
I know.
So I again I'll level my slow, my telekinesis, and my ray of disintegration, your way, and hopefully my telekinesis I'd use first to try and see if I could blip an image. If it doesn't blip the image, then I can target that ray on that particular one again.
Okay, so you're using so telekinesis, you're going to have to hit it with something.
Right.
Which would be ranged touch attack, which your BA is.
BA is pretty decent. BA is +8.
Okay, and then it doesn't become a touch attack at that point either. So AC 23. On an average roll of 18, you may actually, an average roll of 18, you may actually miss.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lich is pretty tough to actually try and hit, which you may or may not pop it, but you're definitely going to pop this last image of this round.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just a matter of whether or not you get the damage to Lich.
Right.
So now I've been pushed back. I've moved up 60 feet since that's happened. So I'm going to cast Haste to try and cover the rest of the distance, which is going to give me an extra action, and it's going to increase my speed.
Right.
So at this point, I think my Lich physically charges the beholder with something he may not expect, and that's physical attacks.
Right.
For the Lich, they're only touch attacks.
Right.
He's going to hit fairly easy against the beholder. It's a big round thing floating in the air.
Right.
So, but I don't do much damage. My Lich does a whopping 6 to 13 points of damage.
Right.
And he may paralyze you.
And he may.
But I don't believe my DC is all that staggering.
No, it's not.
So, and it's a fort save, and the Beholder has really good saves all the way
Right.
around.
My Beholder in that fort save, I got 9 versus what, you're 14.
Yeah, it's really low. And where is it? Special. Da, 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 da.
Sorry, guys.
We have not memorized everything. So, yeah, would you say 14 you think
Yeah.
it is? See, da, 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 paralyzed, more paralyzed. So, he's going to easily overcome it with that in mind. And you also have to contend with my fear aura.
Yes,
So,
which means I have to not roll a 1.
yeah, so you're probably not going to be all
So
that in fear.
on average, the 20th round of combat, I'm not going to be able to, resist moving away.
So we are now, what is this? We're going into
We're going around 4.
Round 4, and now I'm in your face.
Now you're in my face. All right, well, I'm going to absolutely try and hit you with my Ray of Slow to get rid of your haste. I'm not really, digging you getting extra actions on me. You're in my face, but there's no problem with me aiming things directly at you. It's not really hard to do this.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to blast you with my, telekinesis to try and get you off of me, and I'm going to hit you with my Disintegrate as well. Again, they're range touches. It's pretty easy to get you, and if you're going to actually try and grapple me, you get even more negatives. So
Okay, so you blast me. I'm going to take some damage, and chances are I'm going to get pushed back again.
Right.
So with that, this is proving to be a real problem for me. So I'm going to hit you on my turn with Innervation.
Always a problem.
So you're going to take 1 to 4 level drain.
Right.
Which now it's going to be even harder for you to hit me.
Right.
And so you're at a minus 1 to 4 on everything.
Right.
And then I'm going to start moving forward again, because that's what I can do.
So I'll again, I'll level my 3 so far most useful abilities, your way. You're gonna keep stalking towards me. I'll keep hitting you with telekinesis to, keep pushing you back, and at the same time trying to, slow you down even more and blasting you with the Disintegrate.
Yeah, so I'm not liking this at all. So on my turn, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to cast a spell.
Are you going to cast Magic Missile?
I just may cast a Magic Missile.
Sorry.
Well, no, I'm not going to cast a spell. Instead of cast a spell, I'm going to drink my potion of gaseous form.
Ooh.
Because I'm tired of getting disintegrated at and pushed around. So and then I'm going to charge at you.
Okay. Now, having, seeing this, go on, I could certainly just spin my central eye your way and open up. You're no longer gaseous.
Okay. So now the move on gaseous form, I believe, is like fly speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that gets me back to more or less kind of where I want to be.
Right.
So I'm going to hit you with a Ray of Enfeeblement.
Okay.
Which means you're going to lose a minimum of 6 to your strength.
Correct.
And what is your strength?
10.
A 10. Okay, so the possibilities of me dropping you to a 1 strength are
pretty easy.
They're very good. Okay, so now I'm back in your face, Ray of Enfeeblement, and it's now your turn, and I imagine I'm going to get pushed back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Having it might sound like a broken record, but you don't fix what ain't broke. So I would blast you again, trying to keep you out of my face, knowing full well what spells you're using and what things you're doing. I've been enervated. Now I'm getting, you've tried to paralyze me, and now you're trying to drain my strength. It ain't hard to see that you're trying to, grapple me and get, the drain to be what kills me. So I now need to keep you out of my face as much as possible. So again, I hit you with the slow. By now, your haste is probably worn off either from the slow effect of my ray or its own devices.
Oh, I actually just assumed the first time you use slow, it countered spell.
Yeah, okay.
So, which would take it out.
Right.
The chances of the slow actually affecting me are very slim, or slim to none, because
What's your will save?
my will save is my best one. That is a 10.
Okay, so you need a seven or better. That's actually pretty good odds. For it to actually take effect. But that's typically one out of three that it's going to fail. I've now hit you with it 4 times. Chances are it might have actually taken effect. So now with you being slowed, it's either move or have an action. So you can either walk forward or attack me. Always to my advantage. I will certainly try to disintegrate you again, and then of course keep you out of my face.
So this is 3 disintegrates.
Right.
So I've been disintegrated 3 times. So
Which on the law of averages, and your 73 hit points is usually enough to bring you down, because if you pass twice, I'm pretty much going to bring you down with the
third one.
The third one.
So my poor sad Lich has been disintegrated, which means in 1 die 10 days he's going to come back and be angry. And have a better spell selection.
And he's going to be like, you know what? I need to take care of that darn beholder. And the beholder, he might have enough knowledge to know that Lich is coming back, and maybe he doesn't want to be in this area anymore.
Right, or at least be prepared for that contingency.
Be like, all right, well, I just killed a Lich. It's time to go start charming the heck out of some army to bring this thing down.
To go find that phylactery and
be prepared for next time.
Yeah.
So that was our first installment of Monster versus Monster. I think it's a little fun and anecdotal to sometimes bring the bad guys to fight other bad guys.
And we're going to do more of that. So if you guys have any monsters you want to see face off against each other,
and our of course our opinions on the matter, we'd like to do things that are close in power. Obviously, an orc versus a troll straight out of the book is not going to really be a contest. But
speaking of trolls, I think we have one trying to get to us right now.
Sorry, that's my little girl screaming in the background. She wants her daddy.
Yeah. So with that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Check us out on Facebook, nerdarchy.com.
We're all over the place. But until next time, my friends,
stay nerdy.